Now, Sachin, you mentioned that you were investing like you were 50 when you were 25. I think a lot of the analysts that we have seen recently on some major media networks are talking like the same 55, 65-year-olds that are purely looking at numbers and not looking at growth trajectories. So let's talk about this Tyler dude, whatever this guy name is, from Citigroup, went on CNBC, made a big hoopla. I think he colluded with the interviewer, basically set him up for a layup, and then he dunked it, or he thought he dunked it. Essentially, the argument, I think everyone's seen the video. I did a reaction to it. Session did a reaction to it. So if you haven't seen it, we'll probably leave it in the show notes. He went out and he said, look, the growth of Palantir is inorganic. They grew 41% year over year. Last quarter, they got 34 net new customers, 34% growth per quarter. But if you take away the SPAC revenue, they're growing under 30% at around 26%. So his argument is that SPACs have massively declined due to the macroeconomics. Palantir basically needed SPAC revenue to fuel their growth versus actually getting a sales force to go get real organic growth, as he calls it. And he believes, and he's put out a sell rating at $11 on Palantir because he does not think they can grow at the level management says they can grow without having more SPACs to be able to go after. What are our thoughts and analysis? I'm going to start with Cam first, then we'll do Sachin and Chris. Cam, go ahead.
So my first thought with that is they've been projecting 30% growth. They've been projecting 30% growth with SPACs in mind. It wasn't like they woke up, 2 months ago and was like, oh, let's include SPACs into our focus. Like that's probably years in the making of them doing that. So it's them saying they would be missing without the SPACs. Yeah, I'm sure they would have probably guided a little bit lower or adjusted for that had they not had that in their portfolio. So that's kind of like my first thought on it. What do you think, Sachin?
I thought the business is probably the most ideal thing to invest, like for Palantir to go into. So here, let me explain the situation with the SPACs. The SPACs right now are generating revenue for Palantir. Yes, I get it that you had to technically buy revenue by investing in them through the pipe. But what a lot of people are also forgetting is big companies do this all the time. If you go right now to Snowflake, right, and you look at their sales and marketing, right, it's crazy. It's literally they must have last quarter had, I think, 330 million in quarterly revenue, and almost 150 to 160 million went to sales and marketing. Sales and marketing, I'm not sure 100%, but do you know how much free stuff Snowflake gives to people to get them to use it? So power, compute, all the free software. So like right now with Amazon gives free compute for you when you start, right? Same thing with Google Cloud. Google Cloud will come to you and say, we're going to give you free compute. So you start doing things on Google Cloud. This is the same exact situation but instead they're saying, well, you know what? We'll take an investment in you so that you can charge that revenue and and that cash comes back to Palantir. Now, where does Palantir benefit? One, they're taking equity ownership, which means that if, let's say, one of those companies, like a Wejo or a Lilium, 20Xs, that means that Palantir, they gave them a $15 million loan, but they got all of their money back within that predefined time. Now that money that they gave to them, 20Xs, right? And then on top of that, you have a lasting customer that's going to sustain your business going into the future, who will probably buy more Palantir services from you. So I think the business model of investing in the SPACs is a good one. Right now, the only reason why Palantir is getting hit hard with this is because the SPACs have taken a downturn. I think that's the only reason. If the SPACs were right now trading at higher than what the price was when they went public, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. Everyone would be like, oh, Palantir made the smartest move possible. They took equity ownership. They gained all this revenue on top of it. They have they're getting more even profitable. They have equity ownership. So right now, I think what it is the SPACs are down, so everyone has free reign to kick Palantir while it's down. That's all.
And like speaking of Amazon, the SPAC deal they did with Rivian, like I don't know if it's 100% true, but I believe when I read it, like one of the main reasons they were profitable this last quarter, it like pushed them into the beat, was the Rivian SPAC and all the money that they were making off that.
Sachin, your thoughts on this SPAC FUD? Is it FUD? Why is it FUD?
So it is absolute FUD, and let me take it point by point now. Okay, see, when even in the last role in Schlumberger, I mean, I often have to give my view on a strategic investment, and my view, and even before, my view is like that when you do strategic investment, I mean, like companies don't do strategic investment for financing gain. They need to, at the end of the day, make some business gains out of it, some market, some technology, and at the end of the day, I say that, and you need to do it in a way where you can influence the company in which you are investing it. If you are investing as a company, okay, so why you would invest that we do this partnership with you, then you have to use certain exclusivity with us. Okay, this is how strategic investments are done. Go to any site you want to look, any company, be it Google, be it Schlumberger, be it Shell, and look for Chevron, Corp CVC, Corporate Venture Capital. Every company is doing it. How different companies do is different. Okay, now this guy should have asked one very simple question. Why Catalyst.di is foundry for builders and why Viso is a SPAC investment? What is common between Viso, Lilium, Sarcos, and all these companies? Okay, and if you frame it from that point of view, the whole story is different. Companies like Zeno, like Imaria, like Catalyst.di, they are like very small companies. They are just budding right now, but they are existing in industries that existed over 100 years. They are trying to solve a problem which industry has not solved from a data point of view. So they are solving a mature problem in a mature industry from a new way. So Palantir says use foundry for builders, and they have the arrangement for that. Another thing is, see, look at BNPL. This industry didn't exist. Now suddenly this industry is so big. So if 3 years ago, Palantir did not have a strategy for BNPL, I mean, industry is suddenly over $100 billion. They're already out of it. Industries are scaling faster, and these industries which do not exist today. And that is where, I mean, like if you see the eVTOL, if you see in terms of robotics, if you see in terms of what Viso is doing, so these industries are going to grow so fast. Okay, that means there is like literally a race that who can scale faster. So what Palantir is saying that if I give my technology and get a strategic position in this company, I actually help them to scale even faster. So they succeed, and in addition to that, I succeed also. Okay, so this is why I said this is a strategic investment. And you don't understand business strategy if you have not done business strategy. You can talk as an analyst for all of your life. See how analyst talks. I have seen so many analysts. I get almost like 50 analyst reports every week because of all the investments I do. Okay, they collect information and statements. They see what's the common wisdom look like, and they just kind of summarize that common wisdom in their smooth talking. Okay, when I talk about things I don't understand, I mean, this is what I will do as well. I mean, like, for example, I mean, see, this is why I say I want to work in things where I am deep. And this FUD, this is why I say this is absolute FUD. Growth is growth, cash is cash. You are gaining presence and making money in an industry which didn't even exist 1.5 years back. Dude, you are on roll here. Why do you stop? I mean, this is what they are not trying to understand. Like, for example, if Viso is trying to provide a service to all these incumbents who literally were pathetic when it comes for software management and vertical integration. Man, these people are in dire need because EV is expanding like anything. Mobility is expanding like anything. They need solution today. And how Viso is able to do it? Because they managed to cut down a lot of their enterprise development and CI/CD and the delivery to the customer using Palantir. So if somebody wants to compete with Viso, they need to figure it out. And when it comes to time to value, there is no solution in the market. I'm telling you, no solution. Even Google with all of its might want to deliver the same solution parallel to Palantir. They cannot deliver in the same time as Palantir can as of today. Okay, so what they try to do, they try to cozy up with everything else. So we will give you compute free, we give you this, in future we do this, you can use Google Workspace, you can use Google Meet, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes for hardcore business problems, I think this is where the difference exists as of today. Okay, back to you guys.
Yeah, I want to say 2 points on that. Number one, I love the first point you brought up, which is that these are real companies using real software. So in a world in which Catalyst DI or Wejo or Lilium, their business operations are becoming streamlined, accelerated, more efficient, more productive because of Palantir. And the analyst and that little debacle they had on CNBC was trying to be like, they're coercing. I mean, she literally said the word. They're coercing these SPACs to give them to use Foundry by giving them an equity stake. It's like, are you
use the word nefarious. Like nefarious?
Yeah,
like come on.
The other thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about, dude, these companies are also being invested in by the likes of Microsoft, by the likes of Airbus, GM. So you're telling me, oh, Palantir is the only one that has nefarious purpose? And no,
they couldn't get $200 million from someone else if Palantir wasn't going to do it. Like,
yeah.
So the fact that they were going to get this money and they're building their entire platforms on top of Foundry, that's the core thing I think a lot of people are missing.
Yep.
One of them I think we forgot about just because it hasn't went public yet is Rubicon. Leonardo DiCaprio's in that one. you think that's just going to be?
They're cleaning up the world's trash in a more efficient way. It's like these 14 SPACs, and that. So 2 real quick points. These 14 SPACs, I don't see this as a VC fund. I don't see them as like, let's throw 100 SPACs, 100 startups, $1 million and hope the next one is Instagram. It's like they did a lot of due diligence figuring out, are these companies going to use Palantir's Foundry to actually create a ontological relationship between their business and the platform so that when they do get big, if they get there, Foundry is what they're using, not Snowflake, not Databricks, etc. Number 2, I feel like this analyst would have said the same thing about Tesla in 2017. Right? They were saying Tesla was buying profit by government subsidies. Literally, that was the only way that Tesla was remaining revenue, and look how Tesla turned out. So it's like, this is eerily similar, as Sachin was saying, to the idea of this analyst. He even looked crazy while he was talking. He looked like he was coughing. He wasn't confident in what he was saying. It looks like he doesn't know anything about what the software does. He's looking purely at the numbers, like, oh, this company is buying revenue. It's like, well, you're an idiot because you actually know the company that you're analyzing.
Yeah.
So let me explain this example, like taking the framing back. Like, for example, if you go to 2017 and you say, like, when Tesla, the analyst had this view, and I actually had the same view for a long time that Tesla is profitable because of this. But then I reframed my question, and the reframing was following. I said, why Tesla is profitable? Because of government credit. Is government credit free money? Then why everybody else is not using that free money? Okay, then people say those are the EV credits they get from. I said, like, look at from my point of view, that Tesla is making cars. They are capital hungry because they want to scale faster than anything. So whatever revenue they earn, they put everything back. So there is no profit. So what's wrong in that? Because their capital they are putting back. They are very good in turning that into future inventory. And then, by the way, Volkswagen come and say, see, you are anyway doing this. You are getting these credits. Why don't I pay you and you pool your cars with me so that I don't have to get fined in US and Europe? So when Volkswagen, Tesla exists to replace companies like Volkswagen's ICE inventory. And Volkswagen comes today and say, oh, I'm selling ICE, but I will pay you money. I mean, dude, this was insane. I mean, this is like free money. And what Tesla was doing, Tesla would have been wrong if their business model would have projected that they will have these credits for 20 years. Tesla said, I know these credits will not exist. Let me use it now and put it back and create perpetual revenue of it. So when you frame it in terms of a strategy, the situation is different. And this is what people are missing. And I have certain views and I do not know how to validate it, but this is how I think. Because you need to understand like what is going on between lines. You need to see things over a larger span of like 7-8 years. There is a very strong narrative against Palantir. Okay, there is this narrative has been discussed by many people over the time. So I will not be surprised that the quality of media houses we have. Okay, that some people somewhere can be influenced to take a certain stand, which looks intelligent, but when you try to divide it in terms of data, information, and opinion, it's pretty useless. Nefarious, SPACs are nefarious. Palantir has 2.5% of their total equity exposure because of this. And out of that, they have already taken back almost 100 million and more than that. Man, these investments are practically free now, and they are going to get this revenue. I mean, like, framing this whole situation in a different way, and now we have not yet even, okay, yes, specs are down, but financing gains will come. There are 3 gains Palantir is going to get. They are going to get revenue, they're going to get leadership position in an industry that yet to go mainstream, and they are going to get financing gains out of it. Okay, our other companies, look at Microsoft, how many corporate venture investment they have, how much money they throw in their accelerator program. Look at Snowflake. I mean, how much free credits, and Snowflake has a package for startups. I mean, I know this because I kind of applied it for at some point of time. So everyone does it in a different way. Palantir does it in a different way for one simple reason. Because Palantir want to ensure that the revenue they draw from their clients is proportional to the value they create. Because they want to ensure that if we are going to create a lot of value for clients, we also need to capture a certain portion of it. And that is why their strategies are different. They are risky. There can be setback, but whatever I hear on CNBC, yeah, man, that was, I don't want to use words because I want to ensure that the stream stays clean. Yeah, I think that was dumb.